Good morning. Good morning, dear friends. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking for Bharat, India. On this day of May 14, 2021, Friday. Title of this talk is Civil Field Engineering COVID-19 Designs, Construction Methods, Contracts, AnnexSL Organizations, Communication, Coordination, Quality, why we behind quality of concrete. Like that, important issue is quality of life, quality of engineering, quality in profession, and quality as a theme. This talk is regular one, something from here, something from there. Life is like that. We cannot keep on, for 3 hours or 4 hours with one point. We have to spread ourselves into something where we can say, this is my hierarchy, this is my standard, I maintain this. That's very important point. And if we can't maintain that, we can say that we are broken, we are having this standard, that standard, and we keep on standards ourselves without taking quality into contact, quality into achievement. Well, quality is a very important part of life, and if we miss it, we don't take care of that. But I can say we miss something that we have to understand now. Quality cannot be achieved just by words. Quality cannot be achieved just by statements. And just like it's happening now, we can say that certification is one part, but evidence of certificate that something is another part. It is generally understood that if those who have certificates, they are experts. But in reality, are they experts? That's my point of view. I am a different type of person in this case, you can say. For example, somebody has this certificate of fellow of engineering or institution of engineers, somebody has this certificate of chartered engineer, somebody has this certificate of professional engineer. Okay, these are certificates, I don't mind that. These are certificates and they should have this. But these certificates got some meaning, It's not simply certification, because you achieved something in life, you attained something in life, and that's a very important point. But we should understand this fact that submission or production or proving is one part of life. It's not easy. For example, what's happening in the world. With our country, I'll show you a file that is related to COVID-19. Usually, I used to talk it separately, but because it's an issue now, connected with everybody, so it's my duty to just brief you something on this. I take interest in this on your behalf. It's not my job, it's not my duty, but being a citizen of this country, Bharat, India, and being a professional, being, interested and devoted to my country and also to world, such a disease, you may call it, such an act of God, you may call it, that is COVID-19, corona, infectious disease, which has broken bones of world, spine of world. We may feel happy that we have been able to encounter this, but that is only one part of this issue. We have not been able to encounter it, that's our misconception, frankly speaking. Just like we say, until we know something thoroughly about someone, we cannot say that we have done it or we have not done it. Fact remains that we have not done anything in this regard. We have not done anything in this regard, and that is true. We have not understood what it is, but we say that we have understood this. This point we have to understand. This is a kind of data analysis. For example, you can say that here is serial number, data number, days number you can say, and this is report date. Here some remark, population indicative only, and this is percentage daily tests done in relation to population, percentage daily tasks done in relation to population. And here is total test done. Total test done update is how many tests have been done till now since we started. And this is total tests done, percentage of total tests done in accordance with population. Means I divided total tests over population, that's percentage, and percentage remaining means you deduct this value from 100, you get this answer. Daily test conducted, percentage of daily test to total test, and infection update numbers, and positive, percentage of positive infection to total test done, means how many persons you are getting infected when you test some number of people, and that's this one. And how many positives are there, that's in number, not in percentage. Then daily percentage tested, death update, and daily deaths. This is one part of data, and this is assessment part of data. Assessment part in which I am saying I am using multiplier factor 3, because I understand whatever data we are obtaining here, particularly in these 5 columns, this data is governed by, is controlled by government itself. This is not delivered by some independent agency, and government has full authority, full scope to manipulate data. So being an analysis and what is happening on ground, what's happening in our areas all over this country, whatever news are putting in, whatever channels are telling, whatever news is coming in, there is no uniformity, there is no correlation. It seems everything is haphazard. So based on that factor, whatever views I am getting from various parts of the world, from various experts in this line and medical world, and when say all those who are interested in this, because this very general COVID-19 is now. So I am saying infection dailies particularly and deaths dailies are 2 issues. How many infection in fact we are getting, not that one which is published by government officially, that what value I can give to that, that's I'm taking here. I started with value 2.5, now I think it's 3. Some experts say no, it's too less, it should be 5, it should be, well, leave aside. I am controlling myself, I am taking 3, because reality should be there. We do not know. Somebody says 10 times, somebody says this and that. Then daily death also, into both these I am applying this value to both uniformly, and then we will see how it works. That's point here. Now it's true that this goes on to, you can see this goes on to various dates. Here in month of 11, I started month of 8th, 9th, 10th. Here you can say 10th. Here it is. There's some break in data. There is something where I could not do it due to certain reasons. For example, I could get some information, some not part information from 31st August, 9th continued, then here 11th to 28th is a break because I was in accidents, I could not do anything, and it continues, and you can see this data goes on and on up to entry. You can say this is more than 200. Yes, it is. And it is on 13th, means yesterday when put in here to this 14th, it was 236 entry. It's same, you can see this is very important entry, and this is 439 days from March, since March, you can say since March 2020. 130 population, then this is percentage daily. We are just testing 0.143%. You see, beauty means we can't test. We can't test even 0.4, 0.3% people. We are so efficient a country. I should tease myself because we have no infrastructure developed till now. During this period of 439 days. In 439 days, we have not been able to test even 0.5% people. Is shame on us. If you see this last 7 days, you can see this 0.14, 0.13, 0.13 like this. Yes, yeah. Till now, 30.94 crores out of 130 crores having tested only 13.94 crore, which is in relation to 130 crores population. If you assume it may be 135 crore, it may be 138 crore, I assume 130 as average, and I say out of this 30 crore, have been tested 3594 crore, and that is 23.80%. In 439 days we have been successful only in testing 23.804% public and 76.196% public has not been tested. This means these people who are about you can say 99 crores people do not know what is their status of COVID. They are positive or they are negative. It's unknown to them because this is old people, this is you can say poor people, this is major part of society. Maybe this 23% are those who have capacity for testing, who have capacity for treatment, who can afford all expenses, and these people are very common who can't do all that. 76% means real part of society, poor part of society has been thrown away from testing because government got no plan for testing each individual. And out of this 23 also you can say there may be few percentages who have tested many times. So you may say 20% on minimum only tested, 80% have not been tested. You can just streamline like that. It doesn't matter. Let's go through then how many persons were tested. It says this much. Yesterday it was. Yes, yesterday. It is, you can say it's really worrisome that we tested only 18.64 lakhs, and before that day 19.84 lakhs, and before that 18.5 lakhs. Yes, we cannot even go that. You can see previous data also. If you see previous data, you shall not find any day throughout. I'm not going, I say, even if you go behind, you will not find any day 12, 20 lakhs, 19 lakhs. I think maybe 19 lakhs somewhere. No, it's not anywhere. It doesn't exist anywhere. You can see only at one place it is 19 lakhs, and that is on you can say on 30th April. This is 19 lakhs, 18 lakhs like that. 19 lakhs here and 19 lakhs here. No 20 lakhs. Means we cannot even test 20 lakhs people. This is terrible. Here it is 2370, 2370, 3665. 2.37 crores infections were recorded till now. Means yesterday update was 2 crores 37 lakhs infections in our country. Updated infections, and you may say that yesterday's only infection which were reported was 36,27,27, which is 3,62,727, or you may say 3.62727 lakhs, and which is 19.45% of those who were tested. And those who were tested here is 18.64. If you take out percentages, you divide this by this, you will get this answer, 19.45%. And if you see daily here, you see 19.4, 17.5 like this, sometimes 34 like this, and we can see this is like that. And I'll take 7 days average and show you which is here. You may say 7 days average is here. This is 7 days average from here to here, and this is 20.88%, which means if you apply this 20.88% onto whole population, we may expect infections 27.15 crore. That's points of concern. We go further and see that this is what we say here is 25. This is infection, and this is 258. 317 is now number of deaths, those who have left. 2.58 lakhs people according to government declaration, and this too we achieved on this date. You can say on date, that is 28th April this year. We started counting into 200,000. So from here onwards, you can say it's increasing, and now 2.58 lakhs data. We have lost these peoples. Although this is only official figure, this is only that figure which comes into registers of government hospitals and also on the cremation ground and graveyard, and that is this one. So we can say okay, and they also say that number of those who lost their lives yesterday was, day before yesterday was 4,120. That's that one, and this is before that was 4205, and these two figures are different. You can say here that, I should say, this is regarding vaccination, which is only a weapon in hands of government to answer that we are doing vaccination, and this is result. Up to now, they vaccinated 17.72 crores, 17.72 crores population, which includes the stage 1, phase 1 or phase 2 vaccinations both. And if you find that how many were in vaccinated in last report, as 18.94 lakhs, or you can say 18.95 lakhs, 24.4 lakhs, like this. There is no uniformity in this also. Means at random they are vaccinating. This indicates that, which is very worrisome as well. So we may say on an average, if you see this, 14.62 lakhs we vaccinate on an average. Now this is what is official figure, and let's first discuss this also before going to assessment, and that's very important one. Let us see, in 439 days we have been able to, you can say, on an average we may say we have able to test only this 7 lakhs per day. This is average, and also we have left this population untested, and in fact we require so many tests per day, 1.0855 crores per day, which is not going to happen, and it doesn't seem to, because they are not testing anything on their own. Now this is, you can say, test days required 964 and overall 1266. That's what is point of worry. If you wait for 964 days with what speed is going on, it is very, very worrisome. We have to think of this. It's very, very worrisome picture, I should say. Okay, gentlemen, that is, I'm just continuing it, and it's very, very worrisome picture, I can say. 12 to wait for 964 days, it's not no justified way, it's no judicious way, you can say. And now it's no use. I thought that it should be then 91 days, and for what we actually need here, that was what 2.64 years it will take. If it now then you can say, if you want to test in 91 days, we have to test this per day, but it's not going to happen. This is resource multiplication urgent requirement, and it's 32 times. But this is not going to happen. Forget that. No need is time. Now we come here onto our, as I said, 7 days average is 19.45, 20.88 crores. And also if you take based on 1 day, that is 19.453, that is percentage here. This base percent is 19.45% patients per day. Based on last day, it would be 25 crores. And you can say based on this 20.88 average, it is 27.15 crores. So we can say 27.15 crores and 25 crores. You may say 25 and 27, 52. This means 26 crores must be. 26 crores, so my prediction is 31.4 crores. So it is somewhere in this range. You can say 31.30 crores people have been affected by COVID-19 at current time. You may say 30 crores, 31 crores. It can't be accurate, but this is just the variation, and it tells indicatively is that now come on to vaccination part, and that is we have vaccinated so far. If you consider is total number of vaccinations we have done, that is here. Total number of vaccination that has been done is 13.632%, 13.632% we have done it. And last day it was 18.95 lakhs, 18.95 lakhs or 1.894 million. And then it was total here is 17.72 crores. That is updated one or cumulative one. And percentage division of 13.63 is like this. This is 12.269 for dose 1, that is percentage, and 1.363 for dose 2, when I considered 0.9 for dose 1 and 0.1 factor for dose 2, because whatever number it is given here is for both doses, not for separate doses. The 17.72 crores means both doses, and I consider 0.9 application to dose 1 and 0.1 application to dose 2. This is my government, how many they have used in dose 1 and dose 2. Before going further, I want to clarify something, and that is this part. And this part is here, which is assessment part. This is very, very important part, what we have done in this. If you see clearly, this is very important part in this, and this is most important part, assessment. This means factor of 3 is used to multiply infection daily offered by government or declared by government, and that also. So every day I do this. Now I added this column, and this information you have for every day. And if you go down, you will find this all, and you can say last date we got in is there. This is 1088181, which is 10.88 lakhs, 1 million, 1.088 million infections were assessed on last day of reported day. You can say 1.088, before it was 1.04, like that. This goes on, and this is number of deaths. They are saying 4,000 something, but this says against 4,120, it is 12,360 accordingly, like this. And number of infections, you can say this is here against number of infections 362727. This multiplied by 3, you can say this result of multiplication of 3 of this value, this is result, and multiplication of this by 3 is this results. So this column is related to this column, and this column is related to this column. These only two values I'm taking, and this part I'm not entering this that directly. I'm working on from directions of here. So if you take of this average, it is, you can say, and here it is total in place of 200 something. Government saying 258,317, 2.58,317 lakhs. Against this is this much, you can say. And yes, well, so we go further and see. We can see days required for vaccination is also very important. If we go with this speed, it will be 9 days, which is very worrisome, around period less than 3 years, of course. But who can wait for that period? And now this is infection rate here. As that value I put in there, this is value here for deaths, daily deaths. This is total infections, and all these values we have put in. Now graphics of this. You can see graphics of graphic 1. This is number of, it says positive since the number of positive per day, and this is that value positive day, this one. And you can see up to 235 days here, up to 1 day, first day to 235 days. This is value. And then if you go further, you can see this is total tests conducted, and this is that value cumulative one. And say maybe you don't say every clear, but this is that one. Now if you go further, you'll find positive cases in April and May. This is yesterday's last day, before that and before that. You can see this profile is also not controlled one. It clearly indicates there was some control here, but now it's gone beyond control. There's no means it looks as if work is going completely haphazardly. This is what I can say here. And if you go further, you'll find May percentage of positives. This is that positive, as I said, 19.45 like this. You can see there's also no direct formula or no direct system, just haphazard movement. Means there is no one to check, I think. And this is that's also, you can say, this is that's each day in April, May, which is also worrisome. You can see complete. Well, it's a very small here. If you go further, you'll find that it's going on mounting up and up, and nobody knows where shall it go. And same way, if you say this is vaccination number, you can see beauty of this. I really like these types of cover as far as artistic design is concerned, but not, it's very sad to say I'm saying artistic design, but this curve itself is profile in way it looks like it's a teeth, unequal level of teeth, and you may yourself understand what do I mean by that. And if you take this here, this is a curve for, maybe title is missing now, vaccinations it is, and that is, cumulative value of vaccinations 7.72, you may say that. Now curve number 8, this is April, May cases, and this cases is every day, and they clearly for 2 months, because in that other one is a full one, it's only to be clear 362, 340, all these yesterday and before yesterday. So we go for this only for clarification I added, and this can't be clear from here, but this is also very important curve. Infected to test, possible infected to test, and it's then it's here also. This is total tests done to population, and you can see yourself, this is percentage infected since 25/4, means April curve, right? This is further details. And then daily actual assessment is this is curve number 12, daily actual assessment. I'm not given labels here, but you can see yourself. Let's say 20, about 20 and 2. This is here. For all these, this where it is reached now. It's reached now here, and you may say more than 120. And now is assessment also for assessment for actual, and that is daily actuals, and that's assessment. So I have added one more in this, which you will see tomorrow, not today. I did something else on that also. So this file is telling you clearly, and my reference, my comments are in this analysis that extremely bad state of testing and vaccination. You can see from records there has been no testing beyond 22% or 23%, and vaccination started in a good state but has gone astray now. This means sleeping and sleeping both government as people. Inefficient people of Bharat, India are really, government is inefficient people, government is inefficient and people are inefficient, drastic failure, and can say no interest to test population, no actions, question, no policy, and no seriousness in our country, sleeping status. And this is, information from where? From site I take, that is www.mygovernment.in/COVID-19/. You can go to the site every day. The updated information. Unfortunately, no analysis is conducted there by anybody, and that is my worry. And with this, what do you think? You can write or you can use yourself. I think this time is enough for explanation of this, and I like to close this file now. This is most important part, I say. You think on yourself whether I'm right or I'm wrong. The multiplication of 3 is reasonable. I did not use 5, I did not use 7, because this is enough for awareness that this is happening or this may happen. As some experts said in some video, that 25,000 losses per day may be witnessed in month of June. I think it may be, because it's already gone to, you can say, it's gone to 12,360, and with this speed, if we keep it, it's really not very happy situation, and we have to be careful about this. Also, thank you very much for this talk of COVID-19. I'll start now other chapters of this, and that is building designs concept, and I'll take quality issue also here, which is very much important. Where it's gone? Let me go back and see where it's gone. The files are missing actually. That is book facilities on store, and I think which is this COVID-19 Bharat India. There's so many mix up in files. So let me see where is that quality. I think I missed somewhere. Let me go back to other one. First, let me open these files as well. Let me do this file number 8. I take file number 7, and file number 7 also I take for this reason. File number 7, and also I take here file number 8. I've taken project management facilities petrochemicals. So I'll take this one as well for purpose of reference. I'll close, otherwise means it's not a big deal. And that file of quality is also important, means that's about how can I move. That's the method distributing thing, quality. Where's the quality comment? Yes, it's got it. Yes, quality everywhere. This is actually important here to note. Can we get it? That's my point of view. Can we get it? And if we can get it, where is that? Where is that? My point is that if we can get it, where is my quality? Where is it? I'm saying it is everywhere. Everywhere. I can't find it at any place. No, I'm not talking of engineering only. I'm talking of complete engineering, all disciplines. I'm not talking of construction only. I want to buy, let us say, a car. I want to buy a car or a scooter. What is main quality we consider? In buying car, I consider that my car should be very efficient in running. It should give me best PHP, best rated speed. It should be environment pro. It should give me maximum per liter fuel coverage. This should be, because I'm going to spend lakhs of rupees on my car, and it shall be friend with me for 5 years in efficient way, where least maintenance shall be done, and it should be with me in every way possible to give me a confidence that some friend is with me for my movement, for my transportation. These factors I should consider: engine BHP, how best car can run, how best can it help me. This we consider for a period of 5 years. But some people, when they go to buy this car or a visit, they never question BHP. In fact, they do not know what is that. Once I was in Tata showroom for my sister's car. I raised a question to that sales representative. Tell me about engine's PHP. He was surprised. Really? He told me, how many customers have come till now? You are first one to ask this question. People ask about color of seat, cover, in internal facilities, this and that. They don't talk of BHP, and he was happy with that. Then he told many other defects also, inbuilt defect, non-symmetry of bonnet and non-symmetry of cement. He said, okay, I tell you, you may buy, you may not buy, that's up to you, but because you have asked some questions, it's very logical. That's my question to everybody. When you spend money on something, you spend on what? On material or real material, or you can say real standard. What do you buy? You want to buy only material without consideration of specifications involved or built-in standard. What do you buy? Do you think whatever designs are applied on this, innovated on this, have been built in? Or does there some system quality exist? Or individual working on that, or that standard, or that dependable mechanism or machine performance, or whatever is given on brochure or specifications, are they really existing? Do exist? Did you ever try to reach that angle? I'm sure none. None, because you say it is industry, this is design patent, and they follow it, they comply it. That is trust. You have built in, because it's a brand, it's a branded organization, branded manufacturer, and you believe that one because that one is very big, rich, professionals with them, automobile engineers, other engineers with them, and you prefer. But you should not forget, if nationally standard of quality doesn't exist, it doesn't mean testing quality. I am talking of total quality system compliance. When you go to buy some small amount item, say you go to buy some kilos of vegetables, you'll ask many questions with that vendor, hawker, thela wala, or footpath shop. This this carrot is not good. This seed saptic. You will select one by one. Even if you have to take 2 kilogram or 1 kilogram, you will select piece by piece, brinjal, carrot, whatever is there. It's not fault of that vendor. That vendor did not bring this vegetable by selection, but you are selecting. So you are so serious about quality, and I'm pleased with that. At least you are so serious about that item, which is going to impact your health. But it's not very expensive. You may pay 100, 200, 300 rupees maximum to buy that item, buy vegetable, and you consume that within 2 or 3 days. So you are so concerned for quality, you are so conscious for quality for something that you will consume in 2 and 3 days, and you are not even concerned about performance quality of that car, which you are going to spend lakhs on, and it shall be with you for 5 years. That's two ranges, 5 years or 5 days. When you buy a house, a bungalow, built apartment, you go to buy, you book, you're so interested in booking. Oh, I should get booking. There was a time when was huge rush behind housing. Now that scenario is gone, but there was a time I was young in Delhi Development Authority. He was a promoter in those days, and they used to open booking for house flats, and people were behind that, standing in queues for days to get forms and then to submit form. They did not. I asked so many people, did you inquire about quality? There was not even a some one person said, okay, I should get booking, and that's it. Booking was more important. Booking was more important than criteria of quality. This is a fact of life. They used to show you some plans, some sites, and so okay, you used to trust them so much. Oh, they shall give us quality product. And even after some product was delivered, there was maintenance problem, there was cracking in walls problem, there was so many leakages problem. They used to cry only. Nobody used to take actions. That's what I'm saying. Where you spend millions and millions and millions, you just go behind that because you think apartment is your destination. You are so interested and you condemn there these two items, quality everywhere and designs and construction. These items, you don't worry about that. You leave them to that promoter. Maybe it is government organization or it is private builder, promoter. You ignore these three items. What shall be quality, what is design, and what is construction. What else promoter expect? Promoter knows you are illiterate as far as these items are concerned. Illiterate in a sense that you don't have knowledge about quality of construction, you don't have knowledge about quality of delivery, and you don't have knowledge of designs. And this is what means. You mean to say, I have got customers, they can buy exempting these three items. So what is left? Cost. They can adjust in cost. They will give you very little cost to you in beginning. And this is time. They will give you time also, which is never complied with. Cost always escalates, And risk for them, there is no risk, it's for you. They don't have any risk on that. No risk on cost for them, no risk for time for them, and no risk for method, whatever they use, no risk on performance. So reliability, forget in such cases. And what does it mean, analysis and sincerity? You are just wasting my time and thinking. Why should I think? I'm getting business without thinking. Why should I think? Believe me, yeah, I'm a promoter. I should think about how to profilate my promotion, how to give more and more advertisement to pull more and more money from you, and that's what I want. Where is engineering? I don't know. I'm not least bothered about engineering. I'm not concerned. What is application? This is my application. I have many people who are in business, who are MBAs, who are all this, and they advise me, and my application of making money engineering goes on. Making money engineering goes on. That's what's important here. So my dear friend, I'm not joking. I'm talking about engineering. It's no joke. The COVID talk was also engineering, and this too it is. You may agree, you may not agree. That's your problem. But my problem is what I am telling you. In this case, I would say stop being blind. That's all. Nothing else. Be mentally open. Allow your minds to remain ventilated. Lights must be in. Mind, if not ventilated, it gets suffocated. That's what I say. Engineering is a must. Mental engineering, thinking engineering, and engineering in life. Not social engineering, professional engineering, achievement engineering. That is what is required. And thinking as a person, as an engineer, it doesn't mean that you should have engineering degree or diploma. Thinking is your investment. Thinking is your money. Thinking is gift from God. Thinking is something which is very much thinkable, but people don't think that level. You ask someone, I am thinking something, or you ask someone, you think about this. See, think as verb and think as reality are different. You can't instruct someone think on, because think, activity, think, verb cannot be applied. It's your mind. When you start thinking, you also don't know. It's my mind when I start thinking what, for what, about what. I don't know. This is what is beauty of thinking. And that's why I say and. You start thinking, you'll think more. Maybe you're hungry, you're not taken food, you didn't water, but you think on. That is important, because thinking is so intensive. Thinking is always so intensive, and it becomes more and more intensive from time and time to time to time to time. It becomes thinking grid, regular or regular. It becomes thinking chain. How many times you think in 1 hour, or 1 minute, or 1 day? You don't know. But you think, and you don't think contents for one item, you think on variance of items. So you think good and bad both. You think something bad also. You think something good too. It depends upon how your soul vibrations work, how your mind works, how do you think about problems, and how much time do you have. Sometimes you have to break thinking because of some activity you have to do, but again it comes back, it doesn't stop your follow-up. Thinking is your follow-up. If you generate it, if you construct it, thinking is that kind of power. And once you keep on thinking and thinking and thinking, you keep on generating and generating plates, templates, forms, you can say, some forms which you have to fill in. Those forms are automatically created by vision, and that forms you have to contemplate more and more and fill in. And that's contemplation, and where you find say that I am. You may convert this thinking to another name, and that is analytical part of your mind. Analysis and synthesis. Analysis is same thing as thinking, but particular thinking. If you are given a problem, or if you have a problem, to understand that problem, analysis is conducted, and that is very important part. Analysis. You have to analyze. You have to analyze problem, and actually you can't analyze. Your mind automatically starts it when it sees that you are in problem. You don't know also that you are analyzing, but it goes on, and a point in analysis comes when it hits your mind, hits your awareness. Oh, you are thinking about that. You say, I just start thinking on that. Now, your soul thinks first, and that sends you an alert. An alert, I'm thinking. You receive this answer, or give me more feedback on that. What is requirement and what you are getting? Where does problem lie in? And help they have. I'm here to help you. That's what I'm saying. So, what does it mean? This means reliability would be there if we have risk control, if we have cost control, if we have time control, and if you have certain methods involving all these criteria, definitions and requirement, and how to find, how to chart out solutions on them. Once you find solution, you can do better performance. You can write some combined solutions into one page or one statement, and you can say how to do this work best way, because maybe you have done once not best way, you have done a better way, and before that you might have done good way, and before that you might have done in a failure sense. This is what method statement generates and develops. Your method it is, not my method, and there may be many methods by many people, and that's point of worry. You have to just put that. So, method statement is unpatented. Method statement is no copyright. I mean to say in that way. You have one way, I have another way, and there are so many ways for every work. But ultimate destiny is to achieve to a maximum extent design. Design, and in design also how to design must be a method, and that designer has to decide, that you means the innovator has to decide, but how to execute it, an executor has to decide. So method, nobody can stop you what way you are designing, because there is a set procedure in designs, there are set definitions, there are set methods, at least analytical methods, if not application method, and there are certain codes, certain ways. It may not be that difficult as far as design method is concerned, because every qualified designer, every experienced designer, as experience goes on and on, adds to his knowledge more and more, and efficiently it works, and half of design is done in mind itself, in form of contemplation, in form of vision, and remaining 25%, and then remaining 25% are done in form of application of computers, softwares, as well as revision of those or proofreading of those. So it may not be that difficult for a designer, because designer is first of all expert, very well educated and experienced, like professionals. But important point is, with those people who are not that very qualified, or you can say they are qualified in site activities or in manufacturing activities, they don't bother about what is design, but methods too they don't bother, because there is no regularity in methods. But we should not forget, without methods, without best method, we cannot do best work. And that's why I'm stressing all methods, because methods can lead to better quality production. Quality, when I say, it's not simply quality control, but it's quality system. Quality system, which is not easy. In a way, I can say, first you have to devise your quality system. You have to structure it in a way that it is best suited. It may not be very time consuming, and it may not be least time consuming. It should be, it must be optimized in that way that time is also safe, system also works safely, and production too, which is not guaranteed by quality system, but must be guaranteed practically. If your quality system works well, certainly there should be a good result from production or from manufacturing, but it's not done. If you take 95% products from market, you will find that at some point, I'm cheated, I'm not getting what I was promised. But nothing is left in your hand by imaginary fictitious term, by you can say cheating term, which is called warranty, that kills you. Just in name of warranty, they sell their products, and that too is limited warranty, and they charge for this. That's not free. That is a charge already included in price of whatever article or equipment you buy. So this is indirect commercial cheating, you can say, I would say. Why should something fall below its requirement when I do everything? That's my point. So method statement is a professional document, I can say. If you devise method yourself to solve your problem, that is best one. Because first of all, we are engineers, we are no ordinary people. We are expected to think much higher than normal people. We are expected to intensively think. We are expected to use many created contemplates of ourselves. You cannot say, yes, you may assume, you may predict, you may formalize, you may do whatever you do using your engineering sense. Engineering sense is very important in our profession, and that sense we have. Once we start working somewhere, we get experience, and that experience goes on and on and on as many years we attain. So if we are experienced, you may get experience to solve. You may say, I am experienced one. What does it mean? Can you ask yourself? Can you answer to yourself? We say, I am experienced, I am a veteran, I am senior, and this. Okay, you experience, but what does it mean? Does this mean experience of bad work, experience of standard work, experience of quality work, experience of quality system, experience of good work, experience of what? You question yourself. I least bother if you have experience of 25 years, but you have experience in wrong items. You don't have experience in your knowledge. You have experience on seeing bad or ill, or you can say illicit items, illicit activities. It's very important that you should have experience of performance. Which performance? We say it depends on your performance, but depends on which performance. It should be on right performance. It should be on expected level of performance which you must have, you must express as an engineer. Engineer doesn't mean you have certificates alone. This means your work is another certificate. I have interacted with many Arab people through my career, and they don't bother about when you claim I'm chartered engineer. They accept that. I'm a professional engineer. They accept that. I'm a graduate of masters or doctor. They accept it. They don't mind. I want to say, then you're surprised. If you can't start an excavation of a building, you can't do concrete of a building according to international standards. On your own, considering yourself project manager, leader, or construction leader, or foreman, or engineer, whatever you are, position that your mind. You only say, you are engineer, do it. Prove it you are engineer. Oh, that's a great point. Means you are at that moment, for purpose of admission, your certificate's okay. It is accepted. You have a certificate. That's why we are talking. Otherwise, why would we talk to you? I don't know you. I know through this reference document, published document by your institution, that is certificate of engineering. But are you this? If you can't excavate or can't do something, you can't control project, you can't understand specifications, you can't do that, you are not considered as engineer. They will simply say after some time, after a couple of moments they interact with you, they don't find in yourself that level of engineer they expect. They will see you are fake. That's it. And I've seen this. Well, I don't want to talk on that, but it's a part of life. Method or procedure is solution to our problems. You may call it method, you may call it procedure, or you may call it whatever you want. Question is, whatever work you do, it should be known to everybody what you are going to do. It's not simply you assume something in your mind, you just tell one person and that person, you expect that person shall explain to everyone. This doesn't happen. So you can say it's a kind of means. Method statement is a kind of means only. Means that mean which you can say yes, it is. It's a kind of means for me that I am going to do this work. I am going to do this work in a way. It should be done in that way, and that should be way for me. I am going to do this work specifically and by design. It's a statement, or it's a written statement, or it's video statement, or it's audio statement that explain each and every step what is required, and that can be explained only if you understand your details, if you understand specifications, if you understand, you can say, drawings, if you understand good industrial practice. That can be done that way. Otherwise you can't do that. Therefore, to my brief small mind, I can say method statement is very, you can say, reliable source for everybody. And before doing something, even if it's very normal activity, you can't assume that people know it. Even if it's blinding concrete, you can't say people know about this. You can't say in construction world until you have that team, your own built team, they are smart enough to follow your instructions, and if you trust them, it's fine in rare cases. But in general, construction team, construction crew, sometimes there are hundreds of people, thousands of people. Sometimes you do not know them, but you are in charge. And you have staffing structure. This structure, staffing is very important. Staff must know what you have to do. Because you are responsible, you interact with the staff also, and you finalize with them what you have to do. And that finalization is written or documented, which is known as method document, method standard, method statement. All crew who are involved in that activity, whatever queue are there, 10, 15, 20, 50, those who are in position of controls, supervisory controls, sub-supervisory controls, charge controls, from foreman, supervisor, all these levels, and on top of them, engineer, site in charge. It's duty of yourself as site responsible people, employee, personnel, key personnel, that whoever does work on your command, on site or activity, that person must know from time to time what is required to be done. You cannot leave it to them alone, he will do it, he'll take care of that. No, that's not permissible. Until you know that person has reached to that status that he can control self, that's fine. I'm not objecting to that. That's okay. That's very much point you can say then. Method is therefore very, very important, and method doesn't mean format. It means contents of what you have, or if you don't have, what you should have. That's also important. And you can say, to get this title, quality everywhere, you have to form system among system. You may say subsystem or activity system, or you can say whatever big activity or small activity do, that should be somewhere in some form. And every individual working on that activity must know what is required in terms of a statement verbatim, or in terms of, if they are little educated, some format or some written list. But I think demonstration is very important, because construction people know much more if they are given demonstration by some expert. That's a very important point. You can't expect those people who work in sun, in heat, in trenches, on 95% physical work. You can't expect them to think of in that details. Yes, there is always competition. But they also enjoy their activity if they understand that. But you have to explain to them through your foreman or charge what is to be done before doing that. Because is construction is such a dangerous work. Dangerous in a sense, we use natural resources, use a stone aggregate, you can say sand, cement, all these expensive items we use, and once we use them, we cannot reuse them. That's another problem, because this is part of permanent activity. So we have to be much careful about this. We cannot leave it to circumstances. It will take care of itself. So remember, if you make mistakes directly by yourself or through your team, that mistake can be done. It's easy in construction to cause mistakes. Mistakes are caused, this happens, part of life. Okay, one time, two time, but every time it happens, which can itself ask a question, why it's happening. If I am an engineer, I think that my instructions are not properly reaching to where they should be in their language, in their script, then it's a big point for me to resolve that. How should I handle people That point should come to me, and that should be part of your quality system. When you write quality statement, you write method statement, there are so many formats you write, so many chapters you write. Chapter means, I'm not saying chapter like books, but pages only. You have to refer to scope of work, you have to refer to safety of that, you have to refer to materials and drawings and specifications, and you have to refer to how you shall measure or inspect these activities from stage to stage. And also you have to say, if there is involvement of many manufacturers, method statement in some part, and also your own method. All these go into even materials and other machines, like what machines you will use, tower crane, mobile, or etc. Whatever else. Means it's a club of details, activity-based details, and even curing details and other details, protection details. Everything should go to statement. It's not that people will not follow it. They must understand it, or they must understand by demonstration. Once they understand, they shall certainly do it, because they are not working to go against method. That's first point. They work there for good work. They also feel happy if work is successful, if work is good one. Only the point is, they think if consultant approved that, that's misconception. Don't depend on consultant's approval. Depend on your own achievement, and don't think that if consultant or engineer is approved, you are relieved. No, it doesn't happen. If you are paid for something, being contractor, if you are paid for some activity, your payment is valid only if that work is good, if that work is acceptable. And if that work is not acceptable, your payment has no meaning. You got this point. It's time to move into, I don't take much time in this now. I move to other part, and that is, I go to this part of project management facilities. Let us see what is that. This facility says, here, though it's repeated one, but sometime we have to go back. It says various facilities at construction site. Yes, there are. Not only various facilities, requirements also there. Temporary works, practically preparatory works, permanent works, and below that, procurements. So we can say, in construction, contractor is something you can say very much required for implementation. Contractor has to give you service of different kind. Construction service, maintenance service, other services. So contractor be responsible to arrange, to acquire all services required at plant industrial city for performance of works. I'm just telling you point by point only, not in details, because you know all this. Generally, contracts are done in lump sum fixed price, and it takes some time to tender. It takes some time to constitute and compose required documents, which is big volume. When we say lump sum fixed price, this means in that case quantity is very important meaning, and also not very important mean, because lump sum price once fixed, then whatever quantity is given or not given, whatever BOP is available or not available, quantity in that scope which we define, this is scope document, this scope, and you agreed for some, you can't change it. Even if there is a, you can say, incorrect quantity or there is incorrect something, once your scope is accepted, your contract is accepted, whatever is given there, you have to comply with, irrespective of right or wrong. In that case, contractor has to be careful, and engineer too, because both are bound. Engineer is not directly bound by on that contract, but indirectly very much bound. Now, there are so many stages in contracts. I'm not going to repeat that, but I'm going to important items like general. Let us what is general in contracting. We have to understand general first, and then only we can move to system. So, contractor shall take over construction preparation for temporary facilities. Very important point. Temporary facility we provide to any project which remains support for whole life of that construction. Whole life of construction. I'm saying whatever contract duration we have, throughout that duration these facilities must work. Contract shall build, operate, maintain up to completion, accommodation people, all people. Okay, that's okay. Establishment has to be approved. Establishment has to be established. You can say camp, you may say, or whatever you may say. It must be there. So it says everything should be there regarding accommodation, I think, office building, other facilities, and whatever, depending on what size it is. You need office building for communication. You need something. You need offices for everybody. You need other working shops, means working shop times, and you may need storage, warehouses, and whatever is applicable on that project we will have. All these temporary facilities must be given full understanding. People should stay for years there, maybe 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, conveniently and comfortably, because issue of health of people are concerned, health of personnel is very much concerned. We cannot deny that fact. Then we'll see what else. Then points are there in communication system during construction, which is very important part. Communication. We cannot assume it will happen on its own. You have to equip, because communication is very important. Access is also not expected, but reasonable communication must be there until issue is clarified or it is cleared. Then you can say telecommunication, for example, personal to person communication. How best you can communicate with staff, with your workers. There are so many ways. Nowadays, equipments are not efficient. Use is abuse, actually. Communication should be done by few people, because you cannot confuse also. And there should be reasonable communication, not excessive. Again, point is same. Checklist, we say. If checklist is clear, we can check. If checklist is unclear, we cannot check. And checklist means it should be time based, it should be information based, and it should cover itself in every base. That's the point here. So these were some points we already discussed in this. So project controls, for example, contractor responsibility. Contractor following is minimum. That's in controls, and you have to see that point. Undertaking project management. I'm seeing. Let's go to some place and back in about. But meanwhile, you can read this. It's very important. I'll come back and see other chapters of same, which I'll take detailed engineering and building design concept. So meanwhile, I'll give me 5-10 minutes in the back. It's also important for me. And So I said that controls here. Controls are very important, and you have to be careful about that. Now, say that controls very important factor. Undertaking project organization in connection with designs, engineering, procurement, construction, installation, testing, pre-commissioning, commissioning, startups, initial operations and maintenance of facility, including engine management, organization and supervision, or monitoring, you can say, of all subcontractors, vendors and ancillary or temporary services that are necessary for expeditious completion of work in accordance with contract. This is actually, you may say, generally scope of work on every normal project, particularly industrial projects, which we say project organization. We have to undertake responsibilities in connection with pertinent project activities, gross activities, or you may say total activities from project inception to project construction and then delivery. And if you leave besides feed and all those surveys, visibility, just take up designs and production or construction, which jointly we can say engineering, so which include complete organization controls, which you may say project management. I call it organization because organization means organs, connections of organs. All organs must be connected together. Organs means not visible organs but affective organs. Organs which do design, and there are so many sub-organs in designs. Organs that do contracting and supervision both. There are so many organs in that as well, and that's why we say organization. Management is something very obsolete like terms, means you show domination of human management, but we can say management organization or organizational management or organization control, you say, rather than project controls. We have to do designs. It's a very important item. And engineering means engineering design. It doesn't mean profession of engineering here. Engineering means engineering and design and engineering and design, because design is very common word which applies to all life activities, but we are talking of professional engineering. So engineering and design itself, which is very important term. Then we can say we have to procure something. It's procure to the procurement, which includes procurement of everything. Sometimes we call procure materials, not only materials but also something else. Procure technology, procure designs, procure services. So procurement is also very different term. When we study advanced, we have to go into further and further elaborations of everything, every subject, every topic, that's we say procurement. You have to bring something that cures something. Pro means past, you support of that. Cure means treat. We have to treat some problem, and we say procure it, procure treatment, procure mechanism, procure material, procure technology, whatever you say. So we have to cure some disease, some ailment, and that's called procurement. Like a construction will come on to that. Something to join. In a way, we construct that. We construct all parts. We construct all system. We construct objective. We can say, though we construction stages, but we construct for whole to part. Every part has to contribute to that system, to that structure. Every part of the structure is important. It's not simply statement, it's not simply work, it's not simply engineering. Every part of structure has certain work, has certain life, has certain anatomy, and that we can say joining all those items together, all those parts together in life way, in living way, in performing way, not in dead way. We may consider material is dead, but we should not forget that when this dead material is organized well, is, you can say, given a matrix of cohesion or adhesion, this material becomes active. It was inert. It was inert when it was lying in nature. But when you procure it to design and engineering, it becomes different. That's the point we have to consider. It has become different. You understand my point? That difference we have to check, and that is difference. It when it becomes constructive, or when it imparts with construction, it becomes performable. Its inner power has gone. It works together on its own members, and it works together as a group with other members. Different materials work together. And then you can say procurement, construction, and installation. Installation of equipment, installation of vessels, installation of whatever we have to, equip with on that foundation or a structure. And then testing, we say testing, general testing, first fix testing, second fix testing, and we can say that testing applies to all materials, all installations, civil, electrical, mechanical, you can say, whatever else you may say, whatever discipline you are involving on your project. Testing is part of controls, move on. Testings as part of controls, move on. And then if you call further technical establishment, further technical corroborations, we can say pre-commissioning. Pre-commissioning and commissioning, startup and initial operation maintenance also jointly combined together to, you can say, how to start something. Pre-commissioning, which is just to re-establish, just to recheck, just to reconfirm whatever we have installed in terms of circuit, in terms of materials, in terms of system. Every part is to be checked once again. Every part is to be checked according to its provisions, according to its design, according to its installation, according to its performance, that does well. And you can say it's not that performance is checked, identity, and you can say status, and you can say standard of materials installed are ensured by engineers with support of their artisans or their experts, tradespeople like electricians, like duct workers, like others. Pre-commissioning of everything is done, and it takes some time, of course, because it's not performance, rather pre-performance of saying that it's well suited for performance, it's well done for performance, it's well built for performance. And that's pre-commissioning. There may be many snags in that, there may be many punches in that. All those are simultaneously corrected if possible, because at that time, if we know some is a problem, we can't go on recording everything. Its best way is to correct immediately if we find some pre-commissioning problems. Then you can say pre-commissioning, and after that you have to start for final startup of this operational equipment of this, whatever plant you have, and that's called commissioning. Commissioning is very general term used for all projects, particularly when machines are involved, particular vessels are involved, particular equipment are involved, particularly when technology is involved, and particularly weather conditions are involved, environment is involved, life is involved, risk is involved. Every you can say natural content is required. Your commissioning is very important term in that sense. It's a mission and mission and mission, and joint the circuits and circuits and trains. Whatever you establish the plant, that is to be connected together in terms of performance, and we generally call it commissioning startup, so that we can start our operation and we can close title of call it project of construction. We can close it because start has started initial operation and maintenance of facility which have started, and that's the important point in contracting and in engineering. If your system is not successfully started, means there may be some problem that maybe we could not discover the pre-commissioning. Of course, it doesn't happen. If problem comes due to some other reason, it doesn't come because of pre-commissioning, to be very frank, because pre-commissioning establishes that your material, your system, according to electrical requirement, other requirement is conforms. So other points you can discuss later on, but here this point where quality lies in, it lies in these. Then you can see there are so many other issues and controls that you have to ultimately, your objective is to deliver your project, deliver your assignment, and that's performing project that guarantees according to contract, that continues. And if of course there are people who transfer, so this should be known to those who are transferred. That is called, if those people understand what they do, they're professionals. It will not take much time in establishing in the right wrong. So that's what is here in this case of, you can say, facility petrochemicals. I'm not talking of the details of this, just I'm trying to give some, you can say, background of this. What percentage, whatever work we have done, always there is third party, or you can say independent party, independent of employer, and independent of engineer, and independent of contractor. That party, what does it require? And we call, when such non-contract party comes into play, we call third party. Third party is very important. We cannot say they will charge this and that, but they will solve problems. And always, being a contractor, being an engineer, it's not easy to find problems. But being third party, by their own experience, they will let you know where problem lies in, a defect lies in. That's very important point. Once you know your third party member, or you should know, according to contract, according to specification, at what percent testing you have to do, audit you have to do, because everything cannot be audited, every item cannot be audited. Again, it's a question of random check. We don't want to do redundant work because it costs us and it costs also others. So we know what level of performance is done and what level was expected, and how rating of professionals there in that company is. In that case, we can say whether 30%, 60%, 90%, what percent audit or you want to do, that depends upon that. If you think that it's very much important, then maybe it's 90% or even 100% you can do. So you can say this very important part. Then I'm not going to give a process, but the only important points I'm going to give. Now, what actually we say by maintenance, because that's after project is delivered. Say contractor, maintenance means maintenance management organization. Contractor shall provide all construction organization, supervision and support services, including but not limited to following. Interface management shall give, or coordination, organization, coordination people, construction people, contractual provide construction scheme, you can say construction scheme that we have calls we have done, that will provide supervision and support services, and with construction and interface management, or you can say running up management. You may say, when we say construction management, means management on site or management on project or organizational project. We should be justified, we should be professional, we should be logistic and not showcase. Then supervision is very important, construction supervision, because supervision doesn't mean just stand on site. Supervision is check details, tell details, invert them, revert them, and your site, those leaders should know all that. What is expected of them, what is expected of project, what they expect of government. I think those points must be kept in mind when it's a supervision, because when it's a supervision means your vision should be super. You should check everything. Your eyes control you must have. Eyes control, whatever eyes you are using. I'm not saying your physical eyes. Whatever eyes you are using, those should be very much significant. And that point is very much, applicable. So supervision is not that easy term you think you say. It is something that first you know. If I supervise something, I should know better than what that people working on site, that engineer does. I have to learn myself, I have to teach myself, and I have to be part of that. Supervision is very difficult. Don't count in hours or minutes, count in days. If you count me hours and minutes, after that, supervision is solution actually. Supervision, good supervision is quality, you can say. Good supervision is monitoring, and good supervision is you can say application. Application duly supported, duly organized. Then we can say quality assurance, as I said, total. Before that is safety, of course, I missed that one. Safety is one of the important points that must be taken in first go, because safety means life of people should be safe in all conditions. We cannot leave our crew to be impacted by natural forces or by other forces till we are with them. I can't say about water camels. The way I'm talking is, says safety, health and environment is foremost important subject which we have to care about, which we least bother. In fact, we least bother because we don't think what can happen, and safety, health and environment, as well as economics. So you have to understand the safety, health and environment issue, which is very much important for everybody. I have talked a lot about this. You can see my past videos, and I also put list somewhere, and you can see that how is safety taken care of. There is no limit to safety, but minimum safety must know. And of course, quality system, quality controls, quality assurance. This is very much emerging term. Quality requirement, which is a must. You have to define yourself, and after defining yourself, you have to do that others. Then you can say material controls in warehousing. After quality is related to material, and is related to every activity of life on site. quality has to be achieved, and that is very difficult task in 2021 in our country, because people have become money oriented. Even youth who have still good health, you're not seeing them helping society. Reason they don't know, I don't know. Whatever the reason, but I can only say and we can say material controls and warehousing is very important. If we know about materials, what is a material, we know about specifications of that, but delivery specification. So you have to take care of that. Then because we talk of our material, we may be having sufficient numbers of subcontracting personnel, subcontracting people, the organizations. They shall also like to take care of their material, even if it does against them. We have to see then, after materials and warehousing, subcontracts is very important in inclusion on project, though the subcontractor is called because that party is ours, means as contractor we have to appoint someone for a specialized activity, and that party is meant for that. Subcontract is very important item on such major contracts, because you cannot do everything yourself. You need some people who can be trusted all the time regarding price, regarding milk price. We have to take into our consideration that point, and that is this one. That is, you can say, management of subcontractors and vendors, which is very important term, I should say. We cannot just run away from this term, and this should be given due care, because people avoid subcontractor. Never ever underestimate anybody. Sometimes engineers are also contractors, designers are also contractors. So don't take into that way. Subcontractor means specialized people. Subcontractors means not general people like we are a general contractor. Specialized people in each and every discipline, each and every topic, each and every one. Specialization it is. Electrical subcontractor, mechanical subcontractor, CCTV subcontractor, security subcontractor, lift subcontractor, elevator, I can say, painting subcontractor, or some other contractor, woods work subcontractor. You may find many items in engineering which gives some list of subcontractors and vendors, because subcontractors and vendors, we find them little low graded, but remember, they are if you also have to do that, what do you do? So points that now vendors and subcontractors are backbones of project, because they are approved one, and without them you can't lead project. As main contractor, general contractor, you can't lead project, that's impossible. Then comes TPC services, third party certification services, which is, you can say, independent body of group people, but they scrutinize work of others, contractor as well as engineer. For me, they have authority to raise questions and get clarifications from contracting world and from engineer world. It's a very important point. You cannot say because engineers there from government or from promoter, you should not touch it. When you see, you are not checking their capacities, you are not checking their organizations, you are only making sure work that they have done, they have carried out, complies to requirement, complies with specification. That point should be made sure, or else there is nothing that has to be taken care of. That's very important point. Then you can say TPC means to make sure whatever contract is doing is according to contract, or it is just, let me say, it is just means without them, this TPC has to make sure contract conditions are complied with, design is complied with, quality is complied with, everything is complied with, and if not complied, what actions were taken by TPC. That must be on record. Third party for me is very important one that brings reality to project as an independent party. Then we can say surplus material we must have. Although it should be surplus, but surplus in the sense that we sometimes take variations of steel quantity, variations of material, so maybe 1%, 0.5% materialized there. That must be taken care of if you can't replace or somewhere else, or that can be put for maintenance purpose. So things required. Dismantling and construction aids and temporary facility except otherwise directed by companies. So now commissioning, startup, initial operation, maintenance program, all these are there. Then we can say coordination with contractors. This is a very important point. Coordination vendors, contractors. Will coordinate. How will what's the scope of coordination? You think there's no scope of coordination? The scope of coordination is called the scope of contract. That's a very important point. Scope. I have defined scope, yes. Timely supply of drawings, AFC or approved for construction, we call this. Timely supply of these AFC drawings and information to be issued to subcontractor. Timely supply of engineering documents, yes it is. Timely supply of engineering documents, yeah, it's okay. You can read this one, right? what actually we need here is coordination. Timely supply of AFC drawings, which is very important. We have to, if we don't supply these AFC drawings in time, and information to be issued to subcontractors, whatever we can, those people cannot further work on them. Means approved for construction drawing means drawings related to everything. You do not forget that based on these drawings, these vendors have to produce their shop drawings, fabrication drawings, working drawings. Without those drawings, they cannot work further, because this is cut and paste, cut and fabricate work. Examples, electrical contractor has to do piping, wiring work, which route, how it has to be taken. Similarly, duct worker has to design its duct working, has to make sure that whatever they do must be compatible, must be workable. So these drawings, if we don't issue in time, our civil drawings, architectural drawings, other drawings, these people, and of course services, schematic drawings, which schematic drawings must be converted to shop fabrication drawings or working drawings or installation drawings or whatever you may say. So we have to submit AFC drawings, approved for construction drawings, including all information. These drawings must be given to subcontractors, and whatever engineering documents and information has to be issued must be issued timely. Then adequately expediting vendors' drawings for incorporation within detailed engineering, timely return of engineering comments and approval of vendors' drawings. That are procedure of approval. You see, every subcontractor or services person cannot work on permanent activities until these drawings are approved. And these drawings approved means subcontractors' drawings, which engineer has to approve technically, carrying all calculation details and how work of that service is done, and whatever should be submitted for purpose of electrical load, for purpose of mechanical load, for purpose of plumbing requirement, and whatever lift controls and whatever else, crawler controls, cradle controls, whatever services you have to provide, everything must be technically submitted, and that requires to be scrutinized by engineer for purpose of ensuring that this would work. So it says adequately expediting vendors' drawings, data for incorporation within detailed engineering is a must. It cannot be taken for granted. And adequate expediting and inspection of vendors' equipment and materials. Same thing applies for material submittals and equipment submittals and whatever else we think it is still submitted for, because don't forget that there is a procurement activity to follow up, and that consumes time, and because that depends on quotations, that party, subcontract party invites for cost. So cost factor is also included, quality factors is included, and time is included. So we cannot delay material submittal and equipment submittal, something else, because we have to give enough time to that party, subcontractor through contractor, so that that party can act, can have plenty of time to deal with its own people, its own, you can say, suppliers. Therefore, timely supply of pre-commissioning, commissioning, testing, startup and initial operations and maintenance spare parts to construction site. That's linked to all that. Means pre-commissioning, commissioning, testing, startup and initial operations and maintenance spare parts, all are linked to your initial acts, to your own work. Therefore, expediting vendors for providing completed forms, specific forms within stipulated period, whatever it is, of placement of purchase order. Adequate provision of vendors' assistance for equipment during construction. Adequate provisions of vendors' assistance for equipment during construction. Pre-commissioning, commissioning, startup, initial operation, maintenance and performance test. Timely supply of equipment and materials to be issued to subcontractors for installation, construction, and timely supply of 1 year operational period of spare parts, capital spares and laboratory equipment when required to do so. So this is what actually we should care about. Means it's not so simple, just we can have one sentence answer according to specific rule. No, it has to be made sure, it has to be established that it has been done. Evident it should be. So what it says, main responsibilities which are just we will read. Contractor's prime responsibility shall include but not be limited to following provisions. Let's see what's that. It's also important. It says centralized document control facilities, document control staff, relevant hardware and systems at above mentioned offices, centers, updated PC based register of all documents issued by and to contractor. Yes, central control system, you can say centralized document control system, or also you can say DCC documents control system. Means it's very much you can say a kind of intellectual store where we can say every document is centralized and computerized and we can locate it immediately, and whether it's superseded or it's not superseded, whether it's book or not book, whether specification or no specification, every document must be taken care of by a specialist person, a specialist professional. There are so many issues we can say, such as contractor's master document, database, company acceptance, issuing, obtaining company's client acceptance to proceed in all documents, then distribution of documents to required people, to those who deserve it, who has right to know that, and various coordinations, etc., etc. You can say we have gone through this many times. Then project administration is a point here. Contractor shall develop detailed project administration instructions manually applicable for engineering, procurement, construction, etc., etc. Effective system shall be implemented. You can see close-out report and services. Now we go to, I'll take some of the points here as well later on, and we can say what are detailed engineering. What are detailed engineering requirements? We have done it before. We have done feed, etc., etc. many times. We have gone through that, and this goes on and on. We have discussed this, flow diagrams, philosophies, all that. Mechanical engineering with that, civil structural engineering with that, and all that we did. Simultaneously we can say it is you can say design concept. Science concept. It's very important part of you can say in engineering world. I could take these coefficients ourselves. Very interesting one that we must know. can say this, you can say. It's building practice, really practice, you know. Okay. It's very, building practice facilities is procurement. We are taking very seriously this point because procurement defeats something else also. It's not done properly. It defeats everything else, you can say. Now, what's this? These two files I would like to take up immediately for your reference. And this I'll take off now immediately. Chapter 9 is procurement and chapter 10 is construction. It says procurement, as I said before, is treatment. Without procurement, we stand nowhere. That's true. Procurement is a must, and that is timely procurement, not ordinary procurement. Timely procurement. We have to perform procurement and expedite all materials and equipment necessary for performance of work in a timely manner and in accordance with the execution program. He says procurement must be done and expedited. Procurement of all materials and all equipment, all machines or whatever is required, all necessary for performance of work or performance of contract. Time is of utmost importance here, and this time must lie in the same details as your scheme, your schedule. So it says, contractor shall perform procurement and expediting all materials and equipment necessary for performance of work in a timely manner and in accordance with execution program. For purpose of this contract, terms seller, vendor, supplier, subcontractor shall be interchangeable in meaning and context. That's right. A person who is selling, a person who is vending, a person who is supplying, and of course subcontractor, they are doing all this. And person who is buying is contractor. So These are, you can use term seller when required, you can use term vendor when it's required, you can use term supplier when it's required, you can use term subcontractor when it's required. Contractor responsible for performance of activities which are identification of material, procurement requirements, and preparation of a procedure for company called client approval. You think a lot, but you have to think from project viewpoint. That is more important. You can say identification of material procurement requirements and preparation of a procedure for company client approval. Preparation of all materials takeoff or quantification. Quantification is primarily required. Preparation of requisitions, making requests. Preparation of purchase order, purchasing and expediting. In this there is also approval. That's written number 1 for client approval, which is very important to be expedited. Then purchasing and expediting all vendor selection, evaluation, taking due account of company, client, list of approved vendor. Consideration of minimum maintenance philosophy. Consideration of minimum maintenance philosophy. That's a very important point. Then adherence to required standardization from company client. Adherence to required standardization from company client, and consideration of quality related to contractors, warranties and guarantees. Provision of best possible warranties and guarantees from various vendors for company client. Benefits. Inspection and testing of all procured materials by third party. Certification. Transportation of all materials to site, including packing to sea freight, air freight, standard as required. Storage, preservation and handling at site. Identification of spare parts requirements. Identification of spare part requirements, and you can say preparation and issue out to company client of completed spare parts, interchangeability record, spare parts interchangeability and records, SPIR. Spare parts interchangeability, I stands for that, and record. Preparation of issue of SPR forms within 3 months. Of placement of purchase orders. Procurement of pre-commissioning, commissioning and startup spare parts. Procurement of insurance spares if specified to do so by company client. Procurement of 1 year operations required spare parts if required to do so by company. Customs clearance including payment of custom duty and payment of legalization fees, payment to vendors. There are few points. Efficient use of materials. Efficient use of material. Vendor support and assistance. Vendor support and assistance during construction. Vendor support and assistance during construction. Pre-commissioning, commissioning, startup and performance testing as necessary. Obtaining all necessary certification as built drawings and data from vendors, including quality assurance or quality requirement assurance, record manuals, operations and maintenance manuals, etc. Issue closeout report. You can say vendor support and assistance during construction, pre-commissioning, commissioning, startup and performance testing as necessary, obtaining all necessary certification, as-built drawings and data from vendors, including quality requirement assurance, record manuals, operations and maintenance manuals, issue closeout report highlighting vendor performance. This is efficient use of materials. How to use materials? If you have these details, vendor support you have during construction, all stages, post-construction, commissioning, pre-commissioning, commissioning, startup and performance testing as necessary. Obtaining all necessary certification as built drawings and data from vendors, including quality assurance requirement record manuals, operations and maintenance manuals, issue closeout report highlighting vendors' performance. These all and many more, many more. These are required for purpose of vendors' submission to quality association. These points must be very clearly understood, and more points can be added to them depending on your project, depending on your requirement, or depending what sort of supply you have. Maybe something more to be done on site. You have to, add something to this subject of materials, because materials are vast, diversified nature. It's not electromechanical, but all the specialized materials depending on specialized vendors. You can say long lead items. Novated to contractor sample only. long lead items. This is very important item that can delay whole project. We must understand its implication. Long lead items. We can say long lead items novated to contractor sample only. Now, during feed phase of project, equipment, packages and systems that have a longer delivery time are identified as under a particular contract. Let us say it is main cooling water, seawater pump. It's a big pump. Many pumps, group of pumps, and this is long lead item for them. Main cooling seawater pumps, for example, some project is that low lead item, low, too long item can say, long lead items can say. Main seawater GRP piping. And main seawater GRP piping, main cooling water seawater pump. Scope of supply includes pumps, variable speed motors, variable speed system, transformers, etc. Everything is variable. Supply includes pumps, variable speed system, transformers, variable motors, all that. These are mechanical installations. But our point is feed and that long lead. Supply for main seawater GRP piping includes GRP pipes, GRP fittings, GRP flanges, etc. GRP piping is split into 11 packages. 11 packages which be supplied by multiple vendors. Complete purchase requisitions including specifications have been developed and issued to potential suppliers. This is we are calling pre-tender stage. You may say kind of design stage. Complete purchase requisitions including specifications have been developed and issued to potential suppliers. Quotations when received shall be reviewed for technical compliance and we can say then quotations when received shall be reviewed for technical compliance with inquiry and requisitions. Company or client intends to award purchase orders for above critical long lead items prior to contract award in order to maintain project schedule online. What's required is project schedule online. This is the main point. Project schedule on time. Okay, if you have see, you can say company client intends to award purchase orders for about critical long lead items prior to contract award, and in order to maintain project schedule on line, a copy of material requisition. A copy of material requisition on package for both above long lead items is enclosed somewhere in tender documents. A reference is given for that, not included here. You may have similar situation on your projects. Contractor shall consider those items listed in that material requisition, which shall be ordered by company or client on X works packed and loaded on truck trailer basis. Upon award of contract, company or client shall assign purchase orders to contractor through innovation agreement. Upon award of contract, company client shall assign purchase orders to contractor through a innovation agreement. Is innovation. Contractor shall take over full responsibility for successful design and supply of long lead items. In this case, contractor shall take over full responsibility for successful design and supply of long lead items to meet project engineering design requirements and schedule. Important point. Very important points here. These are: contractors shall consider that items listed in material requisition shall be ordered by company or client on X works, packed and loaded on truck trailer basis. Upon award of contract, company client shall assign purchase orders to contractor through a innovation agreement. This agreement is innovation agreement. Understand this. Means responsibility all responsibility on that contract which client and company agreed with their supplier, same with similar conditions, all shall be transferred to you in name contractor. Means in place of that company and client, contractor name shall be placed in. That's notion. So all other conditions would remain same. All other terms and conditions would remain same. Upon award of contract, company client shall assign this contractor assign this purchase order or contract to contractor through innovation agreement. Contract shall take full responsibility for successful design and supply of long lead items to meet project engineering design requirements and schedule. You can say that contractor shall be single point responsible party for long lead items in all respects. Contractor shall endorse purchase order, requisitions and specifications. Then we can say contract shall be single point responsible party for long lead items in all respects. Contract shall endorse purchase order, requisitions and specifications. Contract shall review and verify purchase order, requisitions in all respects, all aspects, and if necessary would carry out all required additions or amendments to purchase order, requisitions to cover up all omissions, errors, shortcomings, deficiencies as deemed necessary for successful design. So we may say contractor shall review and verify. It's very important point. First of all, contractor shall endorse purchase order. This first point. endorse purchase order requisitions and specifications. And second point is contractor shall review and verify purchase order requisitions in all aspects, leaving nothing aside, and if necessary, would carry out all required additions or amendments to purchase order requisitions to then you can say whatever amendments are there, deficiencies are there, changes are there, we have to fulfill them for successful design, supply and commissioning of all long lead items with prior approval of company client. This point you have to understand very well because this can impact whole contract. It's very important point. Now it happens people don't understand novation, but it is there. Purchasing says contractor shall be responsible for following purchasing activities as minimum. Prepare RFQ, that is request of quotation, specifications and documents for all equipment and materials in accordance with project specification. What do you have to do? Recruit it says prepare RFQ responsible for following purchasing activities as a minimum. Prepare FQ specifications and documents for all equipment and materials in accordance with project specifications and quantification. Ensure that terms and conditions of purchase, requirement of pre-commissioning, commissioning, 1 year operational spare parts and spare parts SPIR forms, vendors, site, support, services and final documentation have been reviewed by company client and included properly within inquiry document. RFQ shall be subject to company client approval. RFQ shall specify quality program of vendor which should comply with requirements of ISO 9000 series. Addition, and this of course old series, new one I have to take. Addition and requirement of company client QA/QC procedure. So we can say RFQ shall be approved and QA/QC procedure completely detailed and will be met to company QA/QC procedure, and conduct purchasing in accordance with company client approved vendors and subcontractor list which is given. Procurement of those items are not listed in approved list shall be subject to company client approval. Then we can say Procurement of those items which are not listed in the approved list shall be subject to company client approval and be carried out on a worldwide competitive basis, except when technical regulations or specifications require otherwise. Point. Procurement of those items which are not listed. Procurement of those items which are not listed. No, let me put this off, please. Now, okay. Let me put this off. Better. Procurement of those items which are not listed in the approved list shall be subject to company client approval and be carried out on a worldwide competitive basis, except when technical regulations or specifications require otherwise. Contractors shall abide by national regulations regarding countries of origin. Review bids received, you can say, from vendors, and prepare technical and non-priced bid tabulations advising selected vendor and ranking of others. Review bids received from vendors and prepare technical and non-priced bid tabulations advising selected vendors and ranking of others. Company client review and approval shall be sought prior to placement of purchase orders for all major critical equipment items. Review all equipment material selection and verify relevant suitability and operability for service intended. Before placing purchase orders, assess and ensure that financial status, availability of vendors recommended pre-commissioning, commissioning, 1 year operational spare parts, including quantity and unit prices thereof, present work load and suitability of vendors are satisfactory to meet project objectives. Technical bid tabulation and vendors' technical proposals. Clarifications shall also be provided to company client for approval if vendor is technically acceptable. Contract shall submit to company or client lists and prices of 1 year operational spares, parts, technical and non-price presentation. Can say contract shall submit company client lists and prices of 1 year operational spares, parts and technical and non-priced bid tabulation. Prepare purchase orders complete with all attachments, that is purchase requisitions, specifications, drawings, shop inspection and testing requirements, spare parts requirements, vendors and suppliers assistance requirements. Provide copies of non-priced purchase orders or revisions thereto to company client. Provide copies of non-priced purchase orders or revision thereto to company clients. Purchase all project equipment and materials per specifications and in accordance with requirements of execution program. Contractor shall ensure that purchase orders are placed with only reliable vendors, suppliers approved by company or client. Contractor shall ensure that purchase orders are placed with only reliable vendors, suppliers approved by company or client. Contractor shall ensure that critical equipment such as main cooling water pumps, VSDs, chlorination plant, mechanical cleaning equipment, switch gears, motor operated wells, control wells, etc. shall be proven type equipment. Proven type. We can say, see, some points are coming in, some are not coming. I can't take all points here. I can do three only. Let us see if we can take the time. We say, oh no. Let's take something, Issue status reports on purchasing activities to company client in accordance with appendix. Review and approval of vendors' drawings and documents, code drawings, specifications to be submitted to company client prior to approval by contractor. All vendors' drawings and documentation shall be produced in accordance with company client engineering standard and for drafting. Contractor shall engage services of glass reinforced polyester GRP, glass reinforced polyester pipeline manufacturers designer as a single point responsible party to carry out detailed pipeline engineering, manufacturing, fabrication, jointing, installations, and QA/QC systems, inspection, and all activity related to novelty items above. Important point is this: we have to understand that it's very important from this point of view. What do you understand? It's big job you have to do, and this quality system you have to follow, because these are various machines, various equipment, and this will impact plant working if these do not perform well. This point is of utmost understanding for everybody. This statement is not simply for sake of statement, it is simply for enforcement. On major plants, there are so many equipment, so many machines, so many other issues or items, printers, which work together for plant supply water or supply something else, or circulation is very important. We cannot just run away from that responsibility. That's the main point. That was the only reason that I'm talking so slowly about this. That when you have to talk and work under quality system, you should also be perfect of that. And that system, yes, there are quality systems overseas. We do have. So we should understand these practical points, and I think we shall take up this issue further, because this is not a very fast issue. This is issue related to plant facilities where mechanical work is very important. Civil works are not otherwise that expensive as mechanical works are, but both are related. If you do not give good foundations to civil, these mechanical equipment cannot station themselves and they cannot perform. It's a very important point, because plant is a mix-up of all engineering disciplines. We have to understand quality systems, they are very wide. It's not about structure we have to consider, we have to consider each and every point. Even landscape we have to consider that one. It's a very important point to understand that. Meanwhile, now it's too late. I'd like to close this issue now better for everybody. So we take this opportunity to close it. Give you thanks a lot indeed, and I hope you could understand what we have done. We have reviewed something here. We have reviewed this point. I have taken this procurement issue, quality issue. Quality issue, which is also very important issue for everybody. And that is where we say it is like this, this is here. We can say this issue is very important one. And we can take closer of this same way. This file we will read later on. Many points are involved in this yet, which is very important to grip. We will take this as well also. And also construction. We will take up construction here. And that point is also important. So we have to be fixed now. We have to be fixed. Construction is very important. How site preparation, all that. We have to move ahead in this. So we can say that is off. And again we go back to this point. So we now take a chance to close it, and that's okay, I think. It should be okay.